Unfortunately, there's more to discuss in the Kate Middleton saga. Surprisingly, it has to do with Photoshop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tea with Bree. If you're new around here, welcome. This is a place where we get cozy, we grab our tea, and we indulge in a little bit of harmless girly goss. However, today, the girly goss will take a slightly more journalistic stance as we discuss the ongoing Kate Middleton saga. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, I've got you. I'm gonna fill you in. Today, the tea is stress relief because I've been needing it. Some points right off the bat before we get into kind of recapping the whole Kate situation. First of all, if you are going to be so deeply triggered by the fact that I'm going to continue to call her Kate Middleton and not the Princess of Wales, I would just ask you for your own mental health to just exit and leave now. I don't care about titles. I'm so sorry. I will call Joe Biden, Joe Biden. I'm not going to call him President Joe Biden every time. It's just way too lengthy of a name. And if someone making a video and using your proper title is the only thing you have going for you and the only thing you have that demands any kind of attention or respect, like, that's embarrassing for you. So yeah, I'm going to call her Kate Middleton. Get over it. The next thing I want to say is I have a part 1 of this that I made, which was basically recapping the situation up until I think the last week of February. So that link is in the description. So go and watch that if you truly are coming into this cold and have no idea about the turn of events. I will summarize it for you, but that video is just more in depth. On that video, I get a lot of comments that make me sad, and not for the reason you might think. It makes me sad for like society as a whole, because people are just so devoted to these extremely powerful institutions and so incapable of believing them able to willfully deceive anyone. That's crazy to me. People, you need to question things. Always, you need to be skeptical. Always. The more power an institution or a person or a company has, the higher the skepticism should be of what they're saying. Because the more power someone has, the more they're going to do to protect their own best interests. So again, I say to you, the more powerful the institution, the person, the greater level of skepticism you need to analyze the things that they're saying, period. Also, I got a lot of comments that were like, leave Kate alone, this is so nosy. What? The purpose of this video is trying to hold powerful institutions accountable for their shit. The intention here is not to force a sick woman, if it was true what they reported about her, to like out herself and post pictures. Honey, that's not what this is about. It's not about forcing her out into the public eye. It's about holding an institution accountable for the multitude of lies that have been told involving a woman who is extremely vulnerable in this particular situation. It's about power. Y'all got me fired up today. Okay, so let's get into the recap. Again, you can watch the other video I have in the description if you just want to skip this part. Timestamps are also always in the description, so you can skip around if you already know all of this. But a brief recap. In December, Kate and William, and also Kate on her own, had a lot of engagements booked for early 2024, and also a big trip to Italy planned that their own press office put out. Again, that's early December. Then we see Kate and the kids and William on Christmas Day, as is our custom, going to the church. There are many pictures from this day. You can see them here. On the 28th of December, and this was not widely reported by news, but there's plenty of videos of this happening, an ambulance leaves the residence that the royal family spend Christmas at. It wasn't reported who was in the ambulance, but it left by police escort going to the hospital. On January 17th, we get a statement that says Kate has been admitted to the hospital for a planned abdominal surgery. Again, I ask, if it was planned, why were all these engagements also planned, which were then immediately canceled? On January 29th, they announced that the operation was essentially successful and that Kate has gone home to recover with her family. On February 28th, again, now it's been about 2 months since we've seen or heard anything from Kate. Where is Kate Middleton starts to trend on Twitter. It gets bigger and bigger. Multiple news outlets are picking it up. And on February 29th, this is reaching the point of like global news coverage. And at that point, someone on their William and Kate's team issues a statement to Page 6, which is a tabloid newspaper, and that said that Kensington Palace made it clear about the princess's timelines, saying that she would come back to her duties in April and that they would only be providing significant updates until then. And that was really the last of it up until PHOTOGATE. So what's PHOTOGATE, you ask? Let's get into it. So it's a picture released on the official Prince and Princess of Wales Instagram account, which is William and Kate's official Instagram account. And it's a picture of Kate with the 3 kids, and it says this: "Thank you for your kind wishes and continued support over the last 2 months. Wishing everyone a happy Mother's Day." And when I first saw the picture, which I was happy, I was excited. I was like, okay, this isn't the nefarious thing that we all thought it was. That was my initial, very quick reaction thought. But the longer I looked at it, the more it just started to look off to me. And you can tell me what you think below, like what your first impressions of the photo were. But I do a lot of photography, and I also was a kind of semi-web designer, graphic designer for a number of years. And I use Photoshop absolutely all the time. And there's just certain things that like stand out to you in Photoshop where it's like, they just didn't finish the job right, or they just didn't like blend this well enough. And I started to look at it and I was like, things look off. And I got on Twitter specifically because I was like, am I the only one seeing this? And no, I was not the only one seeing this. PHOTOGATE started to trend because obviously a lot of news sources have been reporting on Kate not being really seen in the public. And again, this isn't about her just not being seen and like a woman can't recover from surgery. This is about Kate existing within an institution that paraded her out the day after she gave birth for her children, like with a full blowout, with full pantyhose, with the full look, okay? So this institution's priority is not Kate's recovery and well-being. They care more that the public and the press get what they want, which was the picture of Kate. You can't tell me in your right mind that any woman having just given birth wants to be in front of a bazillion photographers with a blowout and diapers on and pantyhose. You literally cannot say that. So if you're acting like the institution has Kate's best interest at heart, it's just a fallacy. I don't understand how you can come to that conclusion. Knowing that they have paraded her out before, it's wild to me that people think when the royal family and the institution comes under this level of scrutiny, that they would not parade her out in front of all the press and all the cameras again, regardless of her health status. Again, it's not about Kate having time to recover. It's about what is going on that they won't do that when they've had no qualms doing it before. The lies aren't adding up at this point. She's had planned abdominal surgery, but yet had to cancel 1 million engagements. There's an ambulance that has to go to the house where they spend Christmas, and it goes to the hospital and no one says a word about it. Then we get this photo, which to me has some very clear photoshopping errors. You can look at this, and this is like a very clear mismatch of where the ground was meant to be blended together, but someone kind of just did a bad job of that. And you can see where it's very clearly mismatched. You can also see Princess Charlotte's wrist, where her sweater is like all of a sudden gone. And people, again, if you work in Photoshop, like this is a hallmark. I mean, when I make the thumbnails for my videos, I do the same thing. I'm cropping my head out and I'm putting it in other places. So I know what it looks like, and it's just not well done. Also, Kate's head is the most alarming of all. You almost see like an Adam's apple on her neck, and you see a zipper and a hairline that very clearly has this horizontal line through it, and then the zipper disappears, and then later in the photo the zipper comes back. Anyway, there's a lot of other inconsistencies. If you Google PHOTOGATE or Kate Middleton Mother's Day photo, you will see there's a lot. But the message and the photo are meant to convey that this is Kate now. She's saying that she's thanking everyone for her well wishes and that she's recovering. And it's very much insinuated that like she's doing fine. Look at this picture of her. The kids are great. She's great. Or are they? Because a lot of news outlets pick up this story, right? Because this is the first real photo that we've had of her in months. And Associated Press picks it up. All these major outlets pick it up. And they essentially let it sit for about 6 hours. And then you start to see all over the place what we call a kill notice. A kill notice is a big deal in journalism. One of my friends, good friends, is a journalist at Bloomberg, and I can talk to you a little bit about why. They do not issue a kill for a photo and scrub it essentially from their entire databases without a reason. And it's not just for like light retouching, which is what you might expect that everyone does to a photo. And news outlets run photos of celebrities all the time with a lot of retouching on them. It's not retouching. They don't kill a photo for a little bit of retouching. They kill it for manipulation. Deceit, something that compromises the editorial integrity of the publication, which is what they believed this photo did.
Sure, but this photo of the Princess of Wales and her children has now been pulled from circulation by several of the world's biggest photo agencies over concerns that it has been manipulated.
The picture, which was released by Kensington Palace yesterday for Mother's Day, is the first official photo of the princess since she had abdominal surgery in January.
If a photo is found to be doctored or inaccurately represents a story, they'll kill it because, it compromises the reputation of the news outlet putting the photo out there. And it's not taken lightly, the decision to kill a photo or a story. It involves a lot of careful scrutiny and consideration about ethics in journalism and the potential impact on the audience and the news outlet itself. So again, when I say to you that every outlet, not every, but near every outlet, and these are major respected news outlets, have killed the photo, you have to believe me when I say that there's significant manipulation taking place here. So needless to say, the internet was having an absolute panic attack over this because, like I said in my last video, the reason that I'm interested in this story isn't because I'm nosy. It's because the shit isn't adding up, and as a woman, I care about other women in vulnerable situations, and that's what I'm seeing right now. But again, today, there's this statement that's been released from Kate that apparently says that she photoshopped it and she apologizes to everyone. She's an amateur photographer and she just dabbles in a bit of Photoshop. Honey, you photoshopped your straight up head onto a photo? Make it make sense. Like, who wrote that statement? I will wager almost everything I have that is not Kate Middleton writing that statement, or she's not writing it without a significant amount of coercion. Just no. Just no. Just no. And now there's this new picture of Kate that was released that is apparently her on her way to Commonwealth Day service of celebration with William. And look at the photo for yourself. Girl, what? Who is that? Who is that supposed to be? That's the back of a head. That could be me, honestly. We have a similar color hair. That could be me. And this photo was officially condoned and I guess allowed by the palace. Like, take this photo and run it. And you only see this one photo at this one very specific angle. Make it make sense. All in all, a few things are certain, right? One, this is making the palace, the family, look incredibly bad. The lies have really come to a tipping point. For someone who had significant abdominal surgery, which again, I think many of us know people in our lives who have, to be wearing jeans that are extremely tight this soon after, it's just like, what? I mean, not to mention there was the other one picture taken of Kate and her mom supposedly in the car where the face shapes of the pictures look absolutely nothing alike. Then there's the fact that hours after this Mother's Day photo was released where Kate isn't wearing an engagement ring. Interesting. And you could say, oh, it's because her fingers are swollen after surgery. Well, how is nothing else swollen then? Her face looks completely the exact same. And you telling me you can Photoshop the whole rest of the photo, but you can't Photoshop an engagement ring on there on a picture that's gonna be heavily scrutinized? Girl, please. The rumors of divorce are interesting because, again, like I said, a couple hours after that picture was released, there was a whole article that a few different news outlets ran featuring a kind of expose on the woman that William is supposedly on and off had an affair with. What is the timing of that? Then you also have one news outlet that ran the article and then after PHOTOGATE retracted it and deleted it. You're telling me they're not related? Again, I could speculate truly all day about what has actually happened here. I don't necessarily think that's inherently valuable. It could be, that she did have a very terrible illness, but it's a lot worse than they're saying, and they feel the need to kind of lie about how bad it was, despite the fact that Charles has cancer and everyone's fine saying that. It could be that she's getting divorced and she wants out. Whatever it is, to me, that's not the most important thing. I don't think there's any theories that have made a ton of sense to me, but the thing I know for sure is The palace has been caught in lie after lie. I mean, Photoshop is the master of manipulation. It's where you go to manipulate an image and tell a completely different story than the one that's reality. So again, what's valuable to me is holding institutions of power accountable for their actions. I don't care how long Kate wants to take to recover from whatever she had, but in this type of an institution where we see what happens to Diana, we see what happens to Meghan, we see what even happens to Harry, it's like once you get on the bad side, ain't no one's looking out for you. And so whose vested interests are being protected here? Williams, the royal family. Kate will never be the priority over that, ever, ever. And if you think that, you're absolutely delusional. So if her and William are at odds or something's gone on there, who's protecting Kate? Literally no one. This is being a woman in a situation where you're extremely vulnerable and everyone around you has a very strong motive to protect the other half of the situation. So all this to say, Kate, again, hope you're well, girl, for real. I just hope the institution, the royal family, have to start telling the truth at some point, because you can't continue to bury yourself deeper and deeper here, which is exactly what's happening. So anyway, that's what I've got. Interested to hear your thoughts if they're coherent and intelligent. If they're not, literally don't care. Okay, see you guys next week.